Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Yes, I'm your host, Mad Morgan, and you are listening to Car Musings. So, I've been thinking about you all out there that are listening and tuning in and everything else, and I know you're doing your level best to share us because, we're getting emails and we're getting some new faces and all that stuff like that showing up from what I've been checking out. So, thank you very much for that. And by all means, please check out themadmorgan.com. So, how you been? How you been? How you been? Has things been good? Today, I want to talk about. I don't know. I would say choose your own adventure, but kind of like choose your own fate. That's basically it. And I'm going to put in there, of course, a little bit on relationships and stuff like that, which I always think is interesting. So let's get the one off the ground. And again, I hope everybody's doing well. Relationships can be difficult, and I know I've talked about this before. I have a daughter who's just in the chaotic world of teenagehood and adulthood, where, when she wants to puff out her chest and be all tough, she's the adult, but when she's lazy, she wants us to do everything for her. Those relationships can be difficult with your kids, but you got to remember, you're still trying to mold them into the good people that that they can be. So you got to grin and bear it at times. It's difficult. It is. I hate my kid at times. I love her, but I hate her. Right? She could be a right bitch when she wants to be. Like she really can be. And it's funny that she doesn't see it within herself. Even her mom said, "You're gonna have to find somebody as strong as your dad to be in a relationship with because no man's gonna put up with you." It's true. She is difficult. She could be so friggin' difficult, stubborn as a fucking ass. Like she's just, yeah. But I love her. I think she's one of the best people I know. But I'll tell you, when she puts on that bitch face, forget about it. Forget about it. But as I said, it can be difficult. It can be, but just hang in there. And any relationship worth saving or having is hanging in there. You know, I had a phone call from an old colleague of mine and also a friend, and it's kind of nice. And the other thing about relationships is the fact is friendships. There's those friendships that you don't talk to somebody for a while, but then you still reconnect from where you last left off. Those are nice. I have a few people like that, and they're true friends. They're true, real, genuine people. They're not fakes. I've known a lot of fakes. These are genuine people, and I'm happy and fortunate and blessed that I have them in my lives. And you know who you are when you're listening. You know who you are because I value. We haven't talked in a while. Give me a call. Give me a call. Send me a text. Reach out. It doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't have to be every week. It doesn't have to be every month. 6 months can go by. Life gets busy. But you know what? If you have one of those friends, reach out to them. Reach out to them and say hello. Just a quick, hey, how's it going? Because that means a lot. It really does. On both sides of it. More than you realize how much that can actually affect somebody and make their day. Help them deal with whatever they're dealing with. It's important. So, if you can do it, do it. That's all I'm suggesting. So, what is the biggest thing I want to talk about today? Because we're only about 3-4 minutes in. The biggest thing I want to talk today about is when it comes to making your own fate, I guess, right? Don't let anybody else control it. I want to quote, one of the favorite series of movies, which frankly is so relevant today. But, there's no fate but what we make. And it's true. It's amazing James Cameron was so on board with that. So much with those movies, it's incredible how he tapped the vein, the very essence of the way the world was and the way the world is. It's really interesting that somebody can have that foresight to realize that, oh my God, this is where it's going. But just to capture the essence and everything else when it comes to that, it's just uncanny. I don't know. I get a kick out of it. I really do get a kick out of it, how well he did that job. So, yeah. Anyways, it is true. There's no fate but what we make. We pretty much have to, you know, do the best we can, and control what we can control, because we can't, and nobody else can control it. As much as they try to, as much as they try to make our lives difficult, as much as they try to determine where your life is going into, you know. So it's one of those things, you just have to take the reins back from these people that think that they can dictate where you're going to be going in life and the direction that your life is going to be going into, right? Don't let anybody else step into that corridor and say, no, you're going to do this. No, I'm not going to do that. Oh, but I'm going to make sure you do. I'm going to make all the obstacles for you. Okay, great. You're going to make all the obstacles for me, but it doesn't mean I'm going to go down that road. And you should remember that when life gets you down, whether or not it's somebody that's trying to keep you restrained, or whether or not it's just circumstances, either way, you have to overlook them, and you have to figure out a way to unravel that mystery and unravel that complexity that's going on and do something about it, right? If solution A doesn't work, go with solution B. If solution B doesn't work, go with solution C. There's always got to be something that you can do. You just have to figure out how to do it. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. There is the maneuvers, there is the methodology, there is a way that you can do anything you want to do at any age and any stage in your life. You can do it. It's possible with enough time, perseverance, and dedication and education and everything else. You can do it. Don't say, oh, I can't do it because of this, I can't do it. No, you're just making excuses. Don't let anything or anybody else hold you back from choosing your fate, right? It's true. I mean, I used to have my very first tattoo on me. I actually had it chicken scratched below. It's like a long story, and I was young, but I actually used to have the words "Fate's not made" based after that quote. "Fate's not made" used to be on my first tattoo, right below it. And it's still part of me. It might be covered up, but it's still part of me as to who I am. It is still part of me in the sense that I still believe in those words. But I kind of myself let the outside influences get to me. I mean, are they to blame? Hell yeah. There's people to blame. There's people I'm pointing at. There's people that are on my shit list. There are people that, frankly, I would probably not break for. I'm just going to be honest. There are people that I probably wouldn't break for. And that's because these people are, the vermin of society that they might have fooled the majority, but they're not fooling everybody. And that's the biggest problem I've always had, is that I could see beyond the external bullshit layers. That's kind of my gift that I've always had in life, that I can see beyond that. And because I can see beyond that, I'm usually put in that shit pile, because, those mask-wearing mofos look at me and go, oh, shit. We have a true seer here. We have somebody that can actually see beyond the bullshit, But my problem is I can't play the bullshit. And that's what I'm trying to learn this late in stage, late in life, is the fact is I am trying to play that bullshit. I could recognize the bullshit in people. I could recognize the game. I could recognize the mask. I could recognize all the crap that people play, but I can't emulate it. Right now I'm trying to emulate this. I'm trying to learn how to deal with the fuckery and still be able to imitate it, because unfortunately that's the way the world is right now. You have to give the bullshit. It's all illusions. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's been that way for a while. Some of us were hoping for better, but no. There's a lot of fuckery. There's a lot of people that put on this bullshit illusion. Some of them play it off really well. I had a manager that back in the day, she was awesome. I thought she was the salt of the earth. I still think of her highly. But I remember one time she actually pulled me aside and she said, "Listen, Matt Morgan, just so you know, what you see, this is my professional face. Really, I am one selfish bitch. Like, really." And I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Wow. I would not have pegged you as being a selfish bitch because you just have this whole, you're pulling it off, like, so to speak. It's incredible." But I still, honestly, more respect and props to her because, frankly, I she's always been genuine with me. When everybody else is bullshitting me, she's always been genuine with me, and I love her for it. Like, I really do. I would do anything for that woman because she's always not bullshitted me. She's always been straight with me, and never put bullshit disguises when it came to me, which I respect. Like, there's no tomorrow. One of the best managers I ever had. So props to you. You know who you are. If you're listening, you know who you are. You know. But anyways, and also much younger than I was, which was impressive. So age has nothing to do with anything, right? Like, this head of her time. But anyways, there are people that will give you nudges, and there will people that will help you out. But those same people will only help you out, within their limits, or if it serves them, unfortunately. But you got to understand that sometimes it's circumstantial, right? Stuff beyond their control, stuff that they can't really do anything about, stuff that's just the way it is, So you have to take the reins for yourself and make a point of going, okay, well, no one else is coming to rescue me here. No one else is coming to pull me out of this fire. I need to do it myself, And when you hit rock bottom, there's only one way to go, right? So you have to just keep persevering, and you have to keep, okay, this isn't working, try something else. If this isn't working, try something else. If this isn't working, try something else. You know what? And eventually, you will find something that works. And when you find that something that works, you're laughing, right? Run with it, double down on it, make the most of it, you know? Ride it until you can't ride it no more. And then think of something else. But eventually, start holding your cards close to your chest and not do what everyone else does. Don't give out those secrets. And I understand that's what other people are doing with me. I don't forgive them. But I know there's people that are doing that with me. They're holding their cards close to their chest. Maybe they've been in my situation. Maybe they've been in my situation. Maybe they've been here. Maybe it's something that they're familiar with. So, there's got to be reasons for it. Maybe there is. Maybe they're just assholes. I don't know. But when you find out your magical formula, that's up to you to decide whether or not you want to share. You want to hold your cards close to your chest because you remember that nobody was there for you when you needed them, right? Or do you want to be the better person and help out people? Give them leads, give them helping hands, prop them up, be a better person, be the person that those other people weren't to you. But you can't really rely on that. You can't rely on everybody else to, go that extra mile for you because that takes a certain special person and different level of commitment. So find your own solution, figure it out, design your own fate. I know where I want to be. I mean, I do know where I want to be. And I've spent like 2 years mulling over it. But I'm not going to just roll over and fucking submit. Screw that. I'm too much a survivor. Hell, I've been a survivor for like my whole life. And a lot of you, if you've been following along my episodes, you know my history. You know my history of an abusive father that was an alcoholic and stuff. You know the shit I went through, right? So you know I'm a survivor because I had no choice to be a survivor. I had to be a survivor from a young age. Otherwise, I would have never pulled it out of being a kid. I never would have. Between being bullied at school and bullied at home, it wasn't an easy go, but it made me stronger. And I'm not sure if you have similar stories. Maybe you do. Maybe not to such extreme. Maybe it's in a different capacity. But we all have our stories, right? You got to try to recognize that in people, but you also got to let yourself build on what your story is. And if you had it easy with a silver spoon up your ass, well, okay, congrats to you. That's awesome. You know what? More power to you. But if you are one of the fortunate ones and privileged ones, help out others, will you? Like, seriously. If you have the means, more than you need, help out others. How much is it going to take you your time? And you make a friend for life. You make somebody a friend, an associate, a colleague, somebody that you can rely on that will most likely pay it forward or return the favor one day. What harm is there in it? It's a benefit and an asset. Keep that in mind. You might go, oh, well, I'm not sharing my stuff. Why? Why aren't you sharing your stuff? Well, I have all I need. I'm comfortable. Okay, great. But what happens the day that you lose everything? What happens the day that you run into tough times? If you're fortunate enough, you won't run into tough times. What happens if you do? What are you going to do then? If you have a contact, if you have an associate, if you have somebody that will actually be there for you because you had their back once upon a time, hell, that's power. That's power. That is support. That is something that will last you for a while. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, that's up to the individual. But back to the flip side of it. I know I'm teetering back and forth. The thing is that you could do it with somebody else doing all the work, or you can try to do the work yourself. Because if you do the work yourself, you know the methodology, you have the foundation, you know how to go about doing it, and you can repeat it over and over again. Now, times change, methods change, economy changes, and everything else, but there's always a solution because not everybody is going through hard times. Why? Why are they not going through hard times? Look at that, why they're not going through hard times, and go, okay, what's the difference between you and me? Ah, okay. And that's what you got to focus in on. Some people are like, oh, well, you're looking at the wrong place. No, I'm not looking at the wrong place. If I see common denominators, that's not the wrong place. Oh, well, that breeds hatred and misunderstanding and everything else. No, it doesn't. Because if I see common denominators and certain people are being given the handouts and giving away the freebies and giving away the legs up, that's pretty straightforward that this is going on. Don't kid yourself to think that it's not, right? Some people are like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. Unless you can put yourself in my shoes, don't judge me, right? Unless you can put yourself into my situation and understand, don't judge me, okay? I can only go by the world in which I perceive and the reality in which I see. And if you want to sit there and tell me, oh, it's different, all right, go ahead and tell me it's different. But I can only go by what I see and perceive by my point of view. And if you can't actually put yourself in my situation, don't judge me. I know what I see. I know what's out there. I have a daughter who's mixed. She got darker skin. That's fine. Still my kid. But she's passing judgment on me. I'm like, well, fuck, you're never going to know what it's like going through what I go through. You never know what's going to like to be a middle-aged Caucasian male who's a little on the fluffy side. You're never going to understand that because you actually have the check boxes marked off. And that's why you're going to have a job. Because you look like a visual minority, you're a woman, let's see, now you can claim some disabilities, so there's a lot of stuff that you can do that basically give you a free ride. So don't give me a hard time about that stuff. Like, don't give me a hard time about that stuff. Don't let other people give you a hard time about stuff. Because unless they can relate to your situation, they don't have a right to say anything about it. And they can come up with psychological explanations for it. They can come up with every bullshit excuse under the sun for it. They can make up whatever they friggin' want. It doesn't matter unless they can put yourself in your shoes. Like, I am baffled by my situation. Are you baffled by your situation? What are you doing about it? Right? That's basically it. In any situation you come in life, what are you doing about it? Are you taking it or are you fixing it? That's what it comes down to. Are you taking it or are you fixing it? Because if you're fixing it, great. Awesome. But if you're not fixing it, don't complain. Don't sit there and go, woe's me, if you're not making an effort on it. You have to make an effort on it. You have to do something about it. Because there is a solution, as I keep saying. Control your own fate. Figure out where you want to be and do it. That's what I'm doing. Slow and steady, but I'm doing it. Because what other choice do I have? You know, what other choice do you have? That's what it comes down to. Do you have a lot of choices? Great. If you don't, then do something about it. Anyways, such is life. Such is life. You just have to work with what you got, learn new skills, learn new methods, learn something new, and run with it. That's my best advice I can give you. My best advice I can give you. But don't give up. And don't let anybody else tell you you can't. And don't let anybody else control the path of which you're taking. Right? Don't. There's always pivots you can make. There's always stuff that you can do. You know, there's always options. And when you come to realize that there's options, you'll be like, all right, I had the answer all along. So, that's all I got to say on that one. I hope that helps, for any of you out there. It's tough times for everybody, I understand that. But there's a difference between the haves and have-nots. And I think moving forward, people are going to gather in the sense of more so looking at those that have always had and, how much have actually helped the have-nots. That are actually hurting and actually don't deserve to be in that have-nots category. When the dust settles and it starts flipping around again, because it does do that, it flips one way then the other. Just keep a tally. My advice, just keep a tally. Anyways, I'm your host, Mad Morgan. Thank you for listening to this episode of Car Musings. I hope you're doing well in your world. I hope everything's going good. And I'm hoping, as always, from my emails and messages I've been getting, that I continue to give you something that you can work with, that's helpful, helps you get through the day-to-day. Anyways, I am out of here. Keep your integrity in check, and I will see you next episode. Bye for now.